Okay, students, this is Dr. DA again. And for posterity, one day you can show your kids, your descendants, this video to let them know that 2020 was the year of the coronavirus pandemic. And so we were supposed to wear these things. Now, I'm wearing them now just to show you. I'm by myself here and we'll be cleaning up, but I just wanted to have this for posterity, okay? So I'm going to walk you through our lab room just to give you a sense of where you would be working, if we were physically here, all right? So let's go and do that. Okay, students, here is a panoramic of our lab. These are the benches. We sometimes have computers up. The room is surrounded by a ring of very noisy fume hoods. And so if we start here on the right, you will see there are several access doors. This door leads into the room where we have our printers and also our analytical balances. And you'll be watching a video of how to properly use an analytical balance. We have several fire extinguishers throughout the room just in case. I have never had an accident, but it's good, and I tell my students to look at the instructions just in case they have to use one of them at some point. As I said, we are surrounded by a ring of fume hoods, and the important thing about these is we're going to use these whenever we work with materials that emit fumes. There are several knobs here. The important one for us is going to be the blue one. Those are the ones that open the gas valve. And so what you do is, this is where your Bunsen burners are going to be used whenever we have to use them. All right. So any experiment that has any substances that produce fumes, whether they are toxic or not, we're going to do those experiments in these fume hoods. You will be assigned lockers right here underneath the fume hoods. So each student gets a locker, but I think typically you share a locker with someone in a different section. All right, I'm going to walk to the back. You can see here one of the fume hoods has one of our Bunsen burners in there. Yes, they're kind of rusty and old, but they work fine. And we'll get to use them in one of our experiments. All right. In the back also we have a cabinet here that has several ring stands that we use to assemble different sets of apparatus. And also in the back of the room, you're going to see 3 sinks. And these sinks are for your use to wash your glassware when you're finished before you put it back in your drawer. You'll notice that each sink has 2 faucets. There is a regular tap water faucet, and there's also a white one that's for distilled water. Anytime that you're making solutions, that you're mixing water with chemicals, you want to use distilled water. Also here in the back is a very important cabinet, and this is the one where we have our broken glass disposal box. If you break any equipment, you don't want to try to pick it up with your hands. Always use, we have our trusty dustpan here and brush, and we can use that to pick it up and then throw it in this broken glass box. If you are missing equipment because in your previous session you forgot to put it away, we typically just put it back here so you can see a bunch of different things here, wash bottles. There's some glassware up here that people left. We are going to require that at all times you wear your goggles, and that does not matter if you're finished with your experiment or not. But in the case of an accident, we have this safety shower here. There is on the bottom an eye wash station. You basically put your face in there, push on that paddle, and it'll squirt water into your face. Make sure you get a good rinse of your eyes. If for some reason something spills on you, you are gonna have to use this safety shower. I will basically get everybody out of the room, and you'll have to strip down and use this safety shower to kind of like basically wash out any chemicals that might have spilled on you. All right, don't worry, we'll deal with modesty issues afterwards. Don't worry about it, okay? We're all friends here. And I'm going to walk you back to the front of the room. As we do that, you'll notice we have several computers. We actually have a computer for each station here. We use them for mainly for generating graphs while you're in lab, although you can always do them at home. All students at LBCC have free access to the Office 365 suite, which includes Excel, and you can use that for making graphs. Okay, last thing I want to show you here is our entrance to the stockroom. It's kind of packed with stuff now, but normally when we're doing an experiment, stuff that is not in your lab drawers, the equipment or glassware that's not in there, and also chemicals will typically be placed on this window here for you to pick up. All right? So let's do a full circle here. Here's another entrance into the stockroom. You're not allowed to go in there unless there is an emergency and we have to evacuate. I have a cork board here where I post all kinds of announcements. And also when we do experiments, I typically put in there any calculation samples that I've done. After I've done them, I put them in here in case you guys want to take a picture of them. All right? Okay, so that is our lab. One last pan here of your lab. And I may have forgotten a few things, but be aware that you would have been very welcome and you would have enjoyed a great time in here. So now let's go back to our online setups.